Hello, I'm Megan Garnier of Bowles-Dolman Cycling Team, and welcome to the Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Coming up in this month's show, we bring you all the action for the stage race of the year in many riders' eyes, the OVO Energy Women's Tour in Great Britain. We talk all things racing with Wiggle High Five rider Nettie Edmondson. We continue our series on women in cycling with Kristen Klein of the Tour of California. But first, we get a unique insight into Team Virtu cycling as we see them at the Bira race in the Basque Country and join their team director, Carmen Small.
But this descent you descend for like 10K, you guys. So to me, it all comes back together to try to stay in the front, okay? I really want to be on the podium today. So however that works, let's try. Okay girls, it's about 5K out from the sprint, Let's organize in the front. Help Kasha go for this. Really good job girls on that sprint. Okay, let's survive this climb. Make sure you girls are eating and drinking.
And now to Framlingham in England for the first stage of the OVO Energy Women's Tour. The peloton rolled out ahead of 5 stages of racing. A star-studded field were looking forward to this year's event, again in front of huge crowds. World champion Chantal Black of Bowles-Dolmans was present at the front of the field alongside European champion Marianne Vos. As soon as the flag dropped, the pace was high. Luxembourg champion Christine Majerus set a fast tempo. And Elisa Longo-Borghini, in the colours of the Italian champion, was ever present, as was Commonwealth champion Chloe Hosking in yellow. It was fantastic to see so many children out along the route. Majerus clinched the early Queen of the Mountain points. And as stage 1 neared the first sprint, the lead-out trains got busy. Danny Rowe of Wild Eels was present, but Corinne Rivera of Sunweb clinched the bonus seconds. And at the next sprint, it was a close finish between Rowe and Amy Peters of Bowles-Dolmans. Wiggle High Five had a big scare as Lisa Brennauer punctured. And there was a big crash in sight of the finish. But with 300 metres to go, the lead-outs were in good formation. On a slight uphill finish in Southwold, the sprint was hard to judge. But Mitchelton Scott's Yolene Dora had too much power for the rest of the field, and scored a great win just 3 weeks after breaking her collarbone. And so Jolien Dora takes the first stage and with it the overall lead in the OVO Energy Women's Tour. Marta Bastianelli finished second and Corinne Rivera of Team Sunweb in third. Now let's meet Nettie Edmondson from Wiggle High Five.
I got into cycling through a talent search program. So I played every other different sport there was. I had an older brother, a younger brother who also played many other sports. And then it wasn't until I was 12 that a talent search program came to our school. They did a range of tests: height, weight, arm span, how fast you can run, how high you can jump. And then they took that data and sent it off to the lab and they said, you should give cycling a go. I think it was just that next level, that extra edge in cycling that kind of grasped me. Like it was, I could see a pathway in cycling, making the next state team, making the national team, and then trying to represent Australia. So I think that's what really hooked me and yeah, helped guide me on that path. Career highs, I've got a couple. I think winning a bronze medal at the Olympics was one of them. That's, I wanted to win. I was, yeah, really hungry for the gold, but to come away with a bronze and to see that flag rise for your country was super special. I think that it was more special because I'd come fourth in the team pursuit a few days before, so I think I knew what it felt like to come home with nothing. I know a lot of people would say fourth is still good, but I think when you've got your heart set on gold, it's pretty hard to take. So yeah, that bronze medal was really important. And then also winning the team pursuit world title with my friends and my teammates in 2015. We'd been working towards that goal for so long. We'd come second and third for so many years, and we felt like we'd been through hell and back to achieve it. And so when we finally crossed that line and broke the world record in doing so, it was a moment I will never forget. The lows, I would have to say maybe Rio Olympics. We went in there hoping for gold in both the team pursuit and the omnium. We had a crash a few days out and we weren't able to achieve what we wanted to achieve. So we once again came home with fifth, and coming home with fifth 4 years after coming fourth is pretty tough. It's a lot of time and effort put into this sport, every single day, blood, sweat and tears. And so trying to deal with that was really hard. I don't do a whole lot else, to be honest. I think as soon as I finish on the bike, I'm usually pretty exhausted, so I like to just chill out, listen to music, go to the beach, hang out with friends, get a coffee. I think just switch off in every way. Cycling is so much more about your mental ability, and so I'd say if you line up on race day, it's 5% physical and 95% mental. So if you don't believe you're going to win it, you're not going to win it. So I think also to do with belief. To get there, you need to know that you've done the work, and to do the work, you need passion. And so I think I lost that passion in 2010. That's why I gave the bike away, and I found that passion again, and I've now believe in myself so much more, and that's why I feel like I've been so much more successful. So you need the physical ability, but you also need to want to be there.
Back to the OVO Energy Women's Tour and Stage 2 starting in Rushden. Jolien Dora rolled out in the green leader's jersey alongside best British rider Danny Rowe. Again, the hunt for bonus seconds was hot. Corinne Rivera took the first of the day. The pace was high in the peloton, stopping attacks. Christine Majerus continued her dominance of the Queen of the Mountains competition. And finally, Italian champion Elisa Longo Borghini managed to go clear. She was joined by Kasia Niewiadoma, last year's winner, and they crested the Queen of the Mountains climb first. On the finishing circuit, alongside teammate Marianne Vos, Danny Rowe took some valuable bonus seconds. And Elisa Longo-Borghini started to turn the heat up on Majerus for the mountains classification. At the finish, Marianne Vos opened up her sprint first. But it was Corinne Rivera who took the win with a bike throw. So Corinne Rivera takes her first World Tour win this year. Marianne Vos in second, Christine Majerus took third place. And with that win, Rivera took the overall lead in the OVO Energy Women's Tour.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back to the Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Stage 3 of the Women's Tour started in Atherstone. Elisa Longo-Borghini chatted with Amy Peters as they rolled out. The pace was very high. Hayley Simmons of WNT hit the deck, breaking her elbow. Corinne Rivera defended her overall lead, taking more bonus seconds. At the next sprint, the breakaway of Vita Heiner of High Tech Products and Anne-Sophie Duck of Cervelo Bigler were away. But in the battle for third, Rivera yet again looked good. On the Queen of the Mountains, Duck of Cervelo Bigler was first over the top. And former world champion Pauline Ferrand-Prévot led the peloton for Canyon SRAM. Kasia Niewiadoma and Elisa Longo-Borghini were locked in a continuous battle for points. The solo leader Duck continued with a good advantage. But as the riders swept into Leamington Spa, the peloton was all together once again. Marianne Vos was super fast as she led it out. But it was Sarah Roy of Mitchelton Scott who raced home first. Bronzini was second and Voss in third. After 3 stages, Corinne Rivera leads by 16 seconds, with Marianne Vos and Danny Rowe in second and third. Now it's time to see the second of our series on women in cycling as we meet Kristen Klein, president of the Amgen Tour of California.
It takes a team, and we have such a phenomenal team in place. We are incredibly proud of not only our internal team, but we work hand in hand with all of these cities. I mean, it takes months and months of planning to get to where we are today. An event of this magnitude, whether you're working with the local police, the public works, waste management, the local volunteers, I mean, there's so many different functional areas, so the communication is key, working hand in hand with the cities to actually get to where we are today. You know, the women's race is also part of the World Tour, which we're very proud of. Also proud that this year, the women will have equal prize money to the men. AEG, the company that I work for, they've always empowered women, so I just feel so fortunate to work for a company like this, and I feel proud that my daughter now can see, me, working for a company like this, and I hope that she has an opportunity to work for a company like AEG.
To the women's tour, and in Evesham, the penultimate stage started steadily, held in honour of the late Sharon Laws. A huge crash took down a lot of the front of the peloton. After the crash, Charlotte Becker went alone and took the next sprint. She was eventually caught. As the sprint formed up, Danny Rowe took a heavy fall. Amy Peters set up the sprint superbly. And it was former world champion Amelia Didrikson who took the victory into Worcester. Behind her, Lepisto of Cervelo Bigla Pro Cycling finished second. Marianne Vos once again up there in third. With 1 day to go, Corinne Rivera retained her lead. Marianne Vos in second and her teammate Danny Rowe in third. The final day took the riders into Wales. A breakaway of 4 riders endured the worst of the weather. Emily Moberg, Marta Tagliaferro, Susanna Anderson and Natalie Grinzer were out ahead. After 4 tough stages and the hard conditions, the peloton were splitting under the pressure. But Team Sunweb did a tremendous job to look after the race leader in the green jersey, Corinne Rivera. In the mountains, the weather drew in even more. Marta Bastianelli of Ale Cipollini tried to attack. But the peloton brought her back in. As the weather improved, world champion Chantal Black was looking strong. And the Boels-Dolmans train was setting a very fast pace into the sprint. But Rivera was in there and benefited to increase her lead. She spoke into the radio to let her team know all was in hand. As the finish approached, Elisa Longoborghini was setting things up for Wiggle High Five. Marianne Vos was once again present in pink, but it was Lotte Lepisto who surged home to win for Cervelo Bigla. So after a tough season, Lepisto comes away with a World Tour win. Bronzini finishes second once again. Marianne Vos finishes third. And overall, Corinne Rivera is crowned champion of the OVO Energy Women's Tour. Marianne Vos takes second place in the overall general classification, with best British rider Danny Rowe in third for Wowdeals Pro Cycling. That's all we have time for this month. Join us next time for more from the world of women's cycling.
It's Annette Edmondson here. Thank you for watching the Voxwomen Cycling Show.